Hello and welcome to Challenge Your Mind, Change the World, the podcast where we dive deep into the art of communication and critical thinking, and how these essential skills can transform our relationships and our futures with our teens. I'm your host, Francesca Hudson, the classic high school teacher, a writer, entrepreneur, and an advocate for meaningful conversations. Each episode, I explore strategies and share insights on how parents can enhance their communication with their children. It's not just about talking, it's about listening, understanding, and fostering an environment where critical thinking thrives. I'm here to equip you with the tools not only for immediate improvements in your family interactions, but also to set up our teens for long-term success in every aspect of their lives. So whether you're on your morning commute or winding down for the evening, join me as we unlock the potential of our conversations to shape a brighter, more thoughtful world. Let's get started. Hello and welcome back to the podcast. Today we're talking about something that affects almost every family with school-aged kids, whether you're in primary school, middle school, high school. Can you guess what it is? We are talking about homework. But more specifically, we're talking about the power struggle that so often comes with it. If homework time in your house feels like nagging, negotiating, tears, frustration, avoidance, shutdown, raised voices maybe, or even slammed doors, please know you are not alone. We all go through this with our children. And more importantly, nothing is wrong with you or your parenting skills, and nothing is wrong with your teen either. What's broken is the system. So we're going to get into that today. We are going to be looking at the homework power struggle and how to make it stop. Let's get started. So let's talk about what homework represents for teens. Because to adults, homework looks like practice, responsibility, learning, discipline. We do it naturally through our jobs when we have to bring work home or finish something off over the weekend. But to many teens, homework feels like judgment, pressure, maybe some comparison. They're being compared to other teens their age. Maybe they're being compared to your friends' children and how they accomplish homework, or classmates. It feels like failure if they can't complete it, or if they get stuck and they don't have the teacher right there to ask questions or ask for help. It can feel like disappointment, and it can feel like never being good enough. And by the time your teenager gets home from school, just remember they've already spent 6 to 7 hours being evaluated at school in front of their peers by the teachers. They have been following instructions in class, in the playground, in their sporting pursuits. They have been managing social pressure. They have been coping with fatigue, maybe especially around morning tea and lunchtime. I remember when I was at school and we would have assembly right before morning tea. And I used to clench onto my stomach in the hope that it wouldn't rumble. A little flashback from when I was at school there. And they're also trying to stay focused. In short, your teenager's brain is tired. So when homework appears, their nervous system doesn't think, oh, great, time to learn. It thinks, oh, here we go again. And when the brain feels threatened, it moves into protection mode. That protection looks like avoidance, procrastination, maybe some anger. That's when the slamming doors comes in, withdrawal, or going off to their room, shutting the door and not actually doing anything, just lying on the bed maybe, or complete shutdown, which in turn, as parents, we experience that as laziness, attitude, maybe feeling like they are disrespecting us, or they don't care about their work, they don't care about their results. But underneath it all, it's stress. That's what it is stress. So most families fall into a loop that looks like this. As a parent, we remind them, time to do your homework. Then our child or our teenager delays, they procrastinate and look around. So then we push them, come on, I've asked you once, get going, get started. And then our teenager or our child resists. They start saying, I'm doing it, or I'm getting started, just give me a minute. So then we get frustrated as parents, we escalate. If you don't start this homework now, you're going to be grounded, you're going to have privileges taken away. So then our child or our teen shuts down completely, the door starts slamming, they put their headphones on, AirPods in, block us out, and everybody feels awful. Not because anyone is doing anything wrong, but because both sides are stuck in this kind of competing survival mode. Parents might feel like if I don't push, nothing will get done. And our children and our teens feel like the more you push me, the more overwhelmed I get. So the pressure rises, the resistance rises, and suddenly homework is no longer about homework. It becomes about control. It's about control. So how do we support our children and teenagers with homework? What do they actually need? Well, let's start with what they don't need. They definitely don't need more pressure, more reminders, more lectures, more consequences. What they do need is structure. They need some predictability, maybe start to bring in some routines around this, around homework. Some autonomy. In other words, they've got an element of control over it. So, what would you like to start? Which topic, which subject would you like to start with first? Or which room do you want to do your homework in today? They need some support. How can I help you? Can I get you a glass of water? Can I get you a snack? And they need safety. They need to feel like the pressure is off them. Because learning only happens when the brain feels calm. A stressed brain cannot think clearly, and a pressured brain cannot organise information. And most importantly, a threatened brain cannot focus. So our job is not to force learning. Our job as parents is to create the conditions where learning can happen. And here's how we change the dynamic. Instead of saying something like, have you done your homework? We could try, when would you like to start? Or we could say, instead of saying, you need to finish it tonight, we could try maybe something like, let's choose one small task to start with. Or instead of saying, how much is left, how much is left to go, we could try, what's the first step? Can you see the pattern with these? It does three powerful things. It gives your team control, their autonomy. They feel like they have got an element of decision-making when it comes to homework. It also lowers emotional pressure. So we're taking the heat out of the conversation. We're not making it personal between us as parents and them. It's not a power struggle. So it's lowering that emotional pressure. And that in turn will help activate their thinking brain. So they, in turn, now that the pressure's off, that fight or flight mechanism is no longer activated, they can start to think logically, calmly about what subject they might start with or what task they can approach first. And don't forget that momentum builds confidence, and the small wins that they're able to achieve with this routine of homework will begin to build trust. And the progress that you will see, or the progress that your team will see, will carry on building motivation. And suddenly homework feels possible again. Because here's something that parents don't realise. I'll let you into a little secret. When homework becomes a daily battle, teens start believing, I'm bad at school, I'm lazy, I can't do this, I always disappoint. It actually feeds their subconscious at a much deeper level. And that becomes their identity, which we really want to avoid. We don't want that to happen. But when homework becomes manageable, something actually shifts internally. Our teenagers start thinking, I can do this. I know what to do. I'm capable. And that identity stays with them. See how that confidence is beginning to build long after the homework is finished. So we have some very long-term results that come from these small tweaks around something as simple to us as adults as homework. And this is exactly why I build my learning systems the way that I do, not to add more work, but to make school feel lighter for teenagers. They're complementary to what they're learning at school. It's to give teens clear steps, for example. I give simple structures, predictable processes with these toolkits, So and you can use these toolkits for homework so that homework stops being a daily bore and starts becoming something that your teenager can actually handle, whether it's with reading or writing, or even just being able to get some ideas out onto the page. So if homework is currently the most stressful part of your day, you'll find those resources really supportive that I've got. I'll link them in the show notes, a couple of the toolkits in particular that parents find really useful around homework time. Now, if homework has become a power struggle in your home, please hear this, my friend. You are not failing as a parent. You are doing a fantastic job. And your teen isn't broken either. And nothing is wrong with your family dynamic or your family routine. It's just the system that we need to tweak a little bit. It just needs changing a little. And when it does, you will see that some calm and some peace will return, even if it's just a tiny fraction. Because I'll tell you why, learning will feel possible again for your teen, and home becomes a little bit more peaceful again. You are doing a beautiful job, my friend, and your teen is capable of more than they believe. Let me leave you with that thought. I'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. Bye for now. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Challenge Your Mind, Change the World. I hope you found our discussion enriching and that you're walking away with new ideas to enhance communication and critical thinking within your own family. If you enjoyed this episode and are finding value in our conversations, please take a moment to rate us on your favourite podcast platform. Your feedback not only supports us, but also helps other parents discover the tools they need to foster stronger relationships and critical thinking skills with their teens. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and share this with someone who you think could benefit from our today's topic. I'm Francesca Hudson, and I look forward to joining you again next time as we continue to challenge our minds and change the world. Until then, keep thinking critically and communicating effectively.